Today's presentation, of course, is on cravings, weight loss, and insulin resistance. My name is Deepa Deshmukh. I'm a registered dietitian, and I practice functional and integrative nutrition. So in today's presentation, we will be talking about the overview of what insulin resistance is. Then we will talk about the symptoms and effects of insulin resistance on our body, causes of insulin resistance, how to correct it, and most importantly, make sure you download the Crave Control tool that has not only has some ideas about how to or what choices to make when you have cravings, and of course I'm going to show you how to make a decadent chocolate shake. So and that link is available after the below the video. So I hope you will enjoy it, and let's get right into it. So insulin resistance. What happens is every cell in our body needs glucose for energy. So as you can see in this particular slide, your brain cell, your muscle cell, including your fat cells, they need glucose for energy. And basically glucose, is a scientific name for anything that comes from the carbohydrate family. So when we so what happens is the cells have these doors, and when we eat glucose, the pancreas release insulin, and as you can see, these are the insulin which acts as a key. So when you eat food, simultaneously your pancreas release insulin. In fact, sometimes the insulin release happens even before we start eating, just through the smell and the sight of food. That's why we call it, oh, my mouth is watering, when we even think of food. And anything that triggers that response causes your pancreas to release insulin. So insulin is this key which opens up the doors on your cells and allows the glucose to go in. So what happens is after you eat, glucose goes in, the cells get the energy that they need, and then after that the insulin levels go down and the glucose levels go down. Now when we don't eat anything, or in between meals, if we need something or if we need energy, your excessive glucose which is stored in your liver and in your muscle gets released. Now, this is a very interesting slide, and I really want you guys to pay attention, because this is what insulin resistance is. When our diet is high in fat and low in fiber and low good or low glycemic index carbohydrates, again, low glycemic index carbohydrates equals refined carbohydrates, or carbohydrates without fiber. So again, high fat and low fiber diet causes insulin resistance. Why? Because we need fiber to extract excessive fat, excessive toxins from our system. Okay? So fiber is our garbage man. We need fiber to take the stuff out of our system on a daily basis. If your diet does not have enough fiber, and you may ask, how much fiber do you need? I'm going to give you the gold standard, what our ancestors did. It's 120 grams of fiber we used to get. Our ancestors ate diets which contain 100 to 125 grams of fiber. Average American is supposed to get or gets less than 15. Our daily requirement is 25. In my practice, what I have seen is for insulin resistance to resolve the insulin resistance, we need to be somewhere around 40 to 60. So so you can pick your number around this cell. But let's see why fiber. So like I said, fiber removes this excessive fat along with the toxins from your system. Because when you don't have or when you have higher ratio of fat in your body, these cells which were supposed to absorb glucose, they start absorbing fat, and unfortunately fat does not require insulin to get into the system. Yeah, it sneaks in. It's like an unwanted thing that flies, gets into the house, so the fat starts to sneak in, specifically in your liver or around your abdominal area, and excessive fat, of course, turns into a fat cell. So now you have this fat instead of glucose or carbohydrate in your cells. And now next time, even if you eat small amount of carbohydrate, you will see your blood sugar goes up because nothing is getting absorbed. The cells are refusing to open the door to your insulin, telling the insulin, hey, I don't need you, we are already full, because the fat has gotten in. And that is what is insulin resistance is. It's your cells are resisting that insulin. Okay, I hope you guys are with me. Now what's happening is, of course, your blood sugar starts to go up. Excessive blood sugar turns into more fat cells. More fat cells means we are going to accumulate more toxins, because fat cells hold toxins. Fat cells are considered as part of your endocrine system, which means they control hormones. So now your hormonal levels are going to be all over the place, and that is all because fat has gotten in and into the cells and resisting insulin. And now you have this rush of insulin, which is again, there's a hormonal imbalance happening right now. And as you can see, because glucose is not going into your cell, but we all know that all our cells need glucose for energy, specifically our brain. When somebody faints, we don't give and put piece of turkey for him to chew on. We rush for sugar, we rush for orange juice, because brain can use sugar as a primary source of fuel. And that's what happens in cravings. Your cell is actually craving for nutrients. Remember, the insulin rush or more fat cells creating different kind of hormones. Now we have hormonal imbalance, and your cell is not getting what it needs. In reality, what happens is it triggers your liver to produce more sugars, and it affects the insulin response. We have more free fatty acids forming, which cause oxidative, which cause which is not good for us in short terms. And symptoms of and effects of insulin resistance. So what's happening here is everything: diabetes, heart disease, blood pressure, polycystic ovary syndrome, endometriosis, lethargy. You can see why we are lethargic when we have insulin resistance, because your cells are not getting what they need. Again, they are starving of energy molecule, which is glucose, or your blood, and of course the other nutrients which comes with having a proper diet, and then headaches and difficulty concentrating. So these are all effects of insulin resistance, not to mention the weight gain, right? It's all going to lead to weight gain, because now you are hormonally, there's hormonal disturbance, and now there is wrong choices, food choices happening. Now it's not only your physical body not getting the right kind of nutrients, mentally you are not getting the supply of nutrients that you need, and it's all a big mess. So like I was saying, the cravings are not always are triggered by emotional issues, but there's something, a storm brewing on a cellular level, which makes the controlling cravings difficult. Okay, so causes of insulin resistance: high fat, low fiber diet. It doesn't matter what kind of diet you are on, but if your diet is super high in fat and is low in fiber. And when I say low in fiber, I gave you guys the range. Average person gets 15. Our daily recommendation is 25. The goal for what I have seen in practice, when somebody's insulin, fiber level reaches 60 to 40 to 60 or more, is going to be good. If we get to 100, give me a call. I would love to know how you got there. It's challenging. So alcohol, inflammation, poor gut health is number one cause of insulin resistance and cravings, or that is a sign. Many times before we address the cravings, I always ask people about their gut health and find the culprit is there. But again, gut health is going to be determined by what you eat and the amount of fiber and the nutritional deficiencies affected by it. Okay, so moving along, poor sleep will contribute to obviously to stress levels and so on and so forth, and we'll quickly see a slide on that as well. So what works, how to correct insulin resistance? Focus on whole food plant-based diet, not processed vegan or just whole food plant-based, or not just plant-based, I should have said, not, because what works is whole food plant-based diet. What does that mean? Do you have to be vegan? No, not really, but try to eat as much food as you can from whole foods. Okay, intact grains. It says here whole grains, legumes, beans and lentils. Initially people say, oh, I have GI disturbance when I eat legumes. I would start with using lentils. Lentils are much easier on your digestive system than beans. Whole grains, I'm not just talking about brown rice here, guys. I'm talking about wild rice. I'm talking about millets. I'm talking about anything that is intact. Teff. I'm talking about buckwheat. These are all the intact grains. Of course, herbs and spices. I recently interviewed Dr. Agarwal, who is a pioneer in research on inflammation and spices, and you can watch his interview on my podcast, Ask Nutritionist Deepa. It was a phenomenal revelation of information that how spices that we find in our kitchen help with inflammation, because we all know that insulin resistance leads to inflammation, or inflammation leads to insulin resistance, and how utilizing herbs and spices are going to help us as medicine to reduce this condition. Low glycemic index fruits. So if you have to eat fruit, I would go with orange or kiwi or pineapple or berries, anything that is in season. Versus if you just find yourself choosing just regular apples or banana and grapes. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. I mean, if you have to choose between candy and banana, go for banana. But if you have to choose between banana and orange, go for orange or kiwi. We have to look at the nutrient density of our diet to reduce insulin resistance. Variety of colorful vegetables, are going to be extremely crucial. And when I say variety of vegetables, I mean red cabbage, I mean Swiss chard, all kinds of mushrooms, different kinds of, nowadays you get different colors of cauliflower. So what I'm trying to get here is, the wider your diet is, the more nutrient dense it's going to be, and it's going to give you the nutrients to remove the toxins from your system and reduce that insulin resistance. And of course, water, just good old water, glass of water. You can add lemon to that, you can add fruit to that, you can add herbs to your water like mint or rosemary or sage. There's so much you can do. If you're finding yourself just drinking flavored water, artificially flavored water, or sparkling water, think twice, because that's not a real source of hydration. Just regular water, of course, it's going to give you that moisture or liquid that you need for this fiber to work, because remember, fiber holds water, and again that particular reaction helps us feel full, and that is what is going to help us remove the toxins from our system. So water has extremely important role in insulin resistance, or removing insulin, or decreasing insulin resistance. So it's a very simple prescription here, nothing to not a secret. Of course it helps I mean, it takes people some time to get used to adding more vegetables, and the recipes, and motivational support, and the little bit of hand holding that you may need. That's what I do in my practice. It's just helping people along the way transition to more nutrient dense diet. It can be doable, and it's all worth it, because it's going to reduce your cravings, it's going to reduce your inflammation, it's going to give you more, and as a result you are going to lose weight and feel more energetic. I mean, what more we want in life, if we could feel good on a daily basis. Let's moving along. Simple joyful activities. We don't need to buy any fancy equipment. We don't need to have a gym membership. Simple joyful activities, because one of the reason or the trigger is, of course, stress. When we are craving, you end up eating wrong things, causes weight gain. That cycle is pretty well known, but we don't realize sometimes if your body is not getting the right kind of fuel, and you are just pushing yourself through the intense exercise routines, it's not going to help you in any way. We first need to learn to enjoy and find joy, find happiness, because those emotions are going to keep our hormonal levels in control. Because insulin resistance, testosterone, cortisol effect, adrenal, all these hormones make us more anxious. We need two things. We need other hormones which are going to fight these hormones, but we also need strategies where the other hormones won't rise as much, and that is what is achieved by joyful activities: painting, music, listening, talking to a friend, whatever gives you joy, find your joy. Intermittent fasting, but again, people go on intermittent fasting without realizing the how to do it. As simple as it sounds, that, oh, you know what, I'm going to fast for 16 hours. It can be challenging. What you eat during that your feasting window is going to be important, as important as how long you fast. So be careful. Start with something simple. 10 hours, go up to 12 hours, 12 lead into 12 and a half, 13, 14, and watch how you are feeling. If you have diabetes, if you have other health conditions, then go slowly, start slowly. Correcting underlying nutritional deficiencies: vitamin D3, vitamin C, magnesium, good quality, lack of good minerals and vitamin combinations, lack of probiotic, all those things are going to contribute to your nutrient deficiency. So make sure you are taking right kind of supplements. And of course, sleep is going to affect your insulin resistance, because lack of sleep leads to cortisol release. Cortisol contributes further to insulin resistance. So again, now it's time for me to show you how to make this decadent chocolate shake. I'm going to exit out of this presentation so that I can show you the ingredients for it. Make sure to download the link by clicking on URL under the video, or just contact us, and we will be happy to send it to you as well. So all right, so before I get to the comment, let's look at the ingredients for today's chocolate shake. I'm going to show you the star of this chocolate shake, because remember, when you have cravings, right, it's going to and you are already, the storm has started. But by training your brain or mind over a period of time, it's not going to happen overnight. However, if you start taking tiny steps in right direction, for example, being surrounded with right kind of foods, or to try to curb your cravings, that's going to be battle. That's going to be the important first step when you are trying to battle your cravings. If I have cravings, and if I'm surrounded with cookies and donuts and pints of ice cream, it's going to be very difficult for my brain to say, hey, you know what, don't eat that and eat piece of fruit. So not having junk food in larger quantities around you is a step number one. And then that will give your brain a minute to think, hey, what else can I do? And in order to do that, let's look at some ingredients which are going to help us make those mindful choices. Raw cacao. Everybody knows raw cacao, right? Full of polyphenols, helps with stress management. So that's going to go in here. But as a sweetener, I'm going to use no other than organic molasses. Okay, organic molasses is again one of those underused high nutrient density ingredients. Okay, I think it's people I wish could start using it in their coffee or even tea, because it just adds phenomenal caramel flavor and of course the color, and it's very intense. But why I like it the most? Because it is a good source of calcium and iron. Both of these micronutrients are commonly lacking in our diet, and especially if you are having hair loss, you need a lot of iron. And a lot of people feel that when they go on whole food plant-based diet, that they are not getting enough iron. It's not only taking the supplements, but it's also paying attention to the absorption of all these nutrients. So when we take stuff from food first is always my mantra. The supplements will come later. But and again, molasses is one of those ingredients which are going to make this chocolate shake really awesome. And then I have some plant-based milk. I'm going to use some soy milk. My friend Susan gave me an idea that I should freeze some, which I did. And I not only froze, I remember to take it out of the freezer before I started the presentation. So extra points for me, because I always freeze it and then I forget to use it. So today is a special day. So I have a plant milk ice cube, you can say, and I'm going to add dash of cinnamon. I like that combination of the caramel flavor from the molasses, the cacao, the chocolate flavor, and dash of cinnamon and vanilla. Now, as I said, the caramel flavor is pretty intense. I mean, not caramel flavor. The molasses flavor is quite intense. But you are going to start with small quantity. Anyway, let's start with the ice cube, the plant milk ice cube. And then I'm just going to eyeball things here. Raw cacao powder. Who doesn't love raw cacao? Now, by the way, this can also be a warm drink during winter, which was here until yesterday. I had this as a warm drink, and then just look at how gooey, caramelly this looks. So little bit of molasses here. I got this one from Whole Foods because on Amazon they are selling only 2 bottles instead of 1, and this lasts for a very long time. Again, depends on how many chocolate milkshakes or what else you are doing. I also use it in dressing sometimes, just to add that another extra dimension of flavor. instead of date syrup. By the way, if you find that molasses is too strong and you are looking for just little extra sweetness to this recipe, you can add a date. Now here, just some organic cinnamon. So I'm just adding a dash of organic cinnamon. You can add vanilla as well. I'm just going to add a dash of vanilla. And off we go. That was more than a dash, but that's all right. Let me see. I'm going to blend it first and then adjust the liquid in a minute. So I'm just going to blend it. Okay. So this milkshake is ready, and I have a fancy looking glass here, and let me just add it. As you can see, it's thick, it's rich, it's obviously looks very chocolatey, and trust me guys, this is going to taste phenomenal. Look at the color. Why would you not drink this instead of some fast food McDonald's milkshake? This has nutrients such as protein from the soy milk that I used. If you're using almond milk or any other milk which doesn't have as much natural protein, you can add a couple of almonds in there. You can add pumpkin seeds. You can even add flax seeds. It has cinnamon, which reduces insulin resistance. And it has molasses, which is high in iron and calcium. It has raw cacao, which is full of polyphenol and antioxidant. So this is really a nourishing drink, you know. And this is to Nourish Festival, and to all of you for joining me today. I'm going to try one and then get to your comments. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So now I am going to look at the comments and start answering. Okay, where should I start? Could you add turmeric as an anti-inflammatory? Yes, you can use this milkshake as I call it, a vehicle. You can add even cayenne. You can add dash of turmeric. You can add some blueberries and make it into a smoothie. So a lot of things you can do. Okay, I'm going to see. Okay, I need help figuring it out. How to get enough fiber, being gluten-free and allergic to raw apples, pears. I don't know what the last word was. Okay, so if you are on gluten-free diet, or then fiber is going to come from try some lentils. You know, half a cup of lentils has approximately 10 to 12 grams of fiber, and that is just in half a cup of brown or green lentils. You can try buckwheat, you can try teff, you can try some beans. Lots of vegetables are going to be high in fiber, especially if you use them with skin on. Okay, because all the fiber is in skin, so you can easily meet your target. What are the best sources of fiber? If that's the key, like I just mentioned, all these intact grains which happen to be gluten-free, buckwheat, quinoa, millets, then teff, lentils, beans, flax seeds, chia seeds. These are all rich in fiber, and you can try this. I'm sorry why the audio was in and out. I'm not sure why, but you guys can contact me if you have any questions. And you know what, I can, if you guys haven't had the good audio, I will re-record my entire presentation and put it on Nourish Festival's website, and you can have it now. So one person asked me, so is more fiber the key? Yes, the more fiber is the key, because when you start eating more fiber, your diet is going to be, you will be eating more nutrient dense foods. And I'm not talking about fiber from the supplements here. I'm talking about fiber from the whole foods. Oh, interesting. This is an interesting question. Can you reverse insulin resistance once you have it? You will be surprised how quickly you will start seeing a difference. Again, it all depends on how sincerely you are following the recommendations. But yes, the answer is yes. The insulin resistance can be reversed. No one. Okay, somebody with diabetes. Yeah, the insulin resistance and diabetes, of course. Somebody says they have 5 autoimmune issues since being diagnosed with celiac. But remember, all the autoimmune conditions have a root in their gut. So gut health holds key to our health and our immune system. And working with somebody to to get hold of your gut health would be a key. We should create a community on Facebook. Feel like I have found my people. Yes, of course, Alisa, we should create a community. There's so much work to be done, and as one person gets better and start spreading the message, you build your community. So we will. That's awesome. Deepa has a Facebook group. Yes, I have a Facebook group called Nutrition is Deepa. I have Facebook page called Nutrition is Deepa, and once you join that, there will be information on joining my little community. So feel free to do that. That if you do keto, you need to make sure. Okay, so somebody said if you're doing keto, make sure you're getting 25 grams of fiber. But remember, for insulin resistance to reverse insulin resistance, we need it 40 to 60. Okay, so 25 is a minimum. We need to up our game even more. I need to work on drinking less bubble water. Yes, I see that all the time. I mean, people are replacing the regular water with bubble water or soda with bubble water. But again, it's a carbonated drink. We are taking carbon dioxide, which makes our body very acidic. Acidic body breeds a lot of diseases. So yes, make sure that you're drinking in real water. It sounds like lentils are the most gentle way to start. First of all, guys, I'm very biased against lentils. I love lentils for a variety of reasons. I work with the farmers and manufacturers who make products with lentils. But keeping that aside, I think lentils are a better first step because they are gentle on the digestive system. In many developing countries, including India, the first food of the baby is cooked lentil water. That's how we start. And it's rich in prebiotic. It has protein, all kinds of stuff. So if you get pink lentil or decorticated mung lentils and cook them, they cook in 15 minutes, and just start drinking that broth 1 teaspoon at a time, your body will get used to to the fiber in it. Okay. It sounds like lentils. Yes. Facebook nutrition is Deepa. All right. Thank you, Elisa. I hope you find I hope you go home and make the chocolate shake and enjoy that. And then I have a podcast where I get people. I have a podcast called Ask Nutritionist Deepa, and I get people from all walks of life and just share the knowledge. So you can, of course, start with that. There is a recipe in the download file. Okay, perfect. Lots of wonderful information. I'm glad you guys liked it. Stephanie said, can she provide what provides the highest fiber to get 40 to 60 grams of fiber? Like I said, anything that has skin, any vegetable, I should say, that has skin on it, or any intact grain, and beans and lentils and spices, even though you are using rosemary in a tiny 1/4 amount in your food, it's still a plant, part of a plant, and it's still going to give you fiber. So every little thing will count. If you just say, you know what, I'm not on any crazy diet, or I'm not trying to be a vegan or vegetarian or keto or paleo, whatever, I'm just going to focus on eating more plants and more plant protein, and you will get your fiber. Okay. Molasses, I really hope that you guys will use the molasses. Yeah, one tablespoon has 60 calories. I probably used 1 to 1.5 teaspoon because you don't really need much, and that's pretty much all. Anything that with the calorie it has, along with, of course, maybe half a cup of soy milk I used, and that's it. So maybe 60-80 calories altogether. But again, look at the nutrient density of this milkshake here versus just the caloric number. Along with the calories, we got so many nutrients. This, do you guys see how thick and foamy this has gotten? This is amazing. I hope you guys can see this. Okay. Cheers. Yes, cheers. Perfect. Thank you all for joining. Let's see. Like I said, I talk about this type of information on my podcast. My podcast is also on YouTube. So if you just Google Nutritionist Deepa, you will come across quite a few things that I do. Unsweetened dry fruit. Yes, so unsweetened dry fruit like figs or dry prunes, or they are called as dry plums now. Unsulfured, what is it called? Shoot. So yeah, dry prunes, dry figs, raisins, all these unsweetened is going to be a perfect remedy for your cravings and also going to give you fiber. Can you add chia to this shake? Of course. All right. So I have come to an end of these comments. Last one I'm going to answer is, does blended fruit versus whole fruit makes a difference? Well, if you're using the whole fruit with, the whole fruit is always going to be better because it involves chewing. Okay, so the more we chew, the better our digestion is. So smoothie once in a while is fine, but if you could start chewing all those ingredients in the smoothie, it's going to have more impact on your digestion. Okay, so but smoothie is a good start. Somebody said lentils are a good meat substitute for those transitioning to plant-based. Yes, of course, 1/4 cup of lentils gives you 7 grams of protein, so which means it has same amount of protein as 1 ounce of chicken. But lentils are going to give you more fiber, more antioxidants, more polyphenols. So hence, it's a nutrient-dense option when compared to the traditional meats. I'm on plant-based. Somebody is on plant-based. That's awesome. Do you have more recipes? Yes, we do. I have more recipes on Facebook, or I do Facebook Live where I show all these things that I pretty much cook in my kitchen. So definitely you can follow me on Facebook. And every week we have a newsletter that goes out. So make sure you get that, because there's always a recipe in our newsletter. I really want you guys to watch my this week's episode with Dr. Agarwal, where he talked about the effect of herbs and spices on inflammation, which kind of ties into insulin resistance. So that being said, I thank you all for joining, and stay in touch. And it was nice to be connected with Nourished Festivals community again, and I will talk to you guys soon.